We're here at Some Kind of Fighter with Dino Spencer from the world's famous History Gym. Dino, first question, how do you develop young European fighters into top-level professional boxers?
Well, at the History Gym, the way we develop European fighters into professional, more American-style fighters is we have a lot of different coaches from a lot of different parts of the world. In particular, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Cuba. Those are really where a lot of the world champions come from. And their style of the coaching is what really allows to develop the fighter into this more professional style, what we're accustomed to seeing on TV style fighter. I mean, even Muhammad Ali had Angel Dundee. In addition to that, he had a Cuban coach as well. So we incorporate one particular skill that we got from the Cuban team is what we call School of Combat, which is like light, controlled sparring, where you're allowed to really work on your fakes, different combos, different techniques, things that you would never try in full contact because you might pay for the mistakes. This will allow you to work on your head movement, your footwork, things you never try, or we limit it to particulars where one guy's only allowed the jab, one guy's only allowed the body to force the person to drill their weak parts of their game, or maybe only offense, only defense. Someone's not aggressive enough, or someone doesn't have the head movement or blocking skills that we feel they need. We force these drills, and with sometimes we'll go 20 rounds back to back, no breaks. So it also develops a level of boxing conditioning that's very particular to being on your feet in the ring for all that time. So when you're only going to go 12 rounds, which is 48 minutes with a minute break all the way through, it's a lot easier.
All right, now let's move on to another part of the game. You've been involved with UFC fighters, boxers on the management level, on a coach level, on every kind of professional level you could be. What is the better pay system for the fighters? Is it being a boxer or is it being an MMA fighter? Which would you choose?
Well, the reality is it's better off being a winner. I mean, that's in the end, that's really what pays the bills. But lately, you can see a lot of fighters have the capacity to technically they're very good, but they're not selling tickets. They're not marketable. They can't cross over. They're not getting the regular non-fighting fans money. In the end, when it comes to pay-per-view, or you're not getting piquing the interest of the sponsors. So it comes down to having a lot more than just a jab and a cross and a takedown and an armbar. It comes down to having personality and be able to convey that personality. I mean, look at Mayweather. Look at McGregor. These guys, look at Muhammad Ali. These guys are the ones that are the top of their sport. And it's not just because of their boxing technique. It's not just because of their MMA technique. It's a lot to do with personality. And that goes with anything. Whether you want to be the best waitress, you better have personality. You want to be the best lawyer, you better have personality. You better the best salesman, you better have personality. So personality goes a long way. And a lot of people I find are fighters because they're shy. And they're okay with being alone with a heavy bag. They're okay with being in the wrestling room for hours on end with the same guy and the same team and not meeting new people, not being social. To cross over, to come out of that, really takes a special person. But I think if kids and fighters are aware of that early, when they realize that's what it takes, I think it gives them a lot more of an opportunity to develop almost like a character that they can work on and polish and create so that they have something to offer to the TV cameras, have something to offer to the interviewers, have something to offer to the sponsors and the potential advertisers, to give them something to show that there's something to be interested in other than the same, punch, kick, takedown combination.
All right, and as far as you've also trained many celebrities, as well as Adriana Lima, Dave Chappelle, and many, many more. What's your difference when you're training a boxer or when you're training someone like Adriana Lima?
I actually train everybody exactly the same way. The only difference is that I don't do contact with people that their job is on the line. Adriana Lima's got a multi-million-dollar face, and I can't take a chance on giving her a black eye, so she can't work. She doesn't care. She's actually asked me many times when she can spar, but I don't let her. But that we train the same way, and we have the doors open during the training. When Muhammad Ali trained at the Fifth Street Gym, doors were open. People got to watch him spar. People would spar with him. He would spar with regular Joes, guys that were just there to work out. Frank Sinatra would come watch him. The door wasn't closed because Frank Sinatra was there. The door was open. So we keep it open the same way so that the fighters can motivate the people that are not fighters, whether they're movie stars or models or billionaires, CEOs, and the fighters can learn from these people, learn from their drive and their success. You can see people that are not required to make weight. They're CEOs that they don't have to be in shape. They can do their job, no problem. But they're there hitting the bag, and they're there on the track, running next to the fighters and dieting like the fighters. And they don't have to. There's housewives in my gym that train as hard as any professional fighter and diet more strict. They don't, after the fight, that 6 weeks of camp, they don't go on a binge and eat like a maniac. They're on their diet all the time. They always eat healthy. So it's a really circular situation where the fighters can motivate the regular people, the celebrities can motivate the fighters can motivate the housewives can set an example for the fighters. It's very interesting that way, and everybody in the end has 2 arms and 2 legs, and you just do the best you can.
As a trainer, what's the hardest part and the most rewarding part of your job at the same time?
The hardest part of my job is that I have a family myself that needs my time and energy. And when a fighter is in camp, he needs as much time and energy as possible. So there's only one of me. There's only so much time and energy in a day. The hardest part is having to decide who's getting my time and who's getting my energy. And you always feel a little guilty. Could I have spent a little more time with the fighter? Could I have spent a little more time with my family? You're always torn between the two. The rewarding part is when they accomplish, not just win, but when they make weight, when you see your young fighter who's now doing an interview with one of the when he's doing his pre-fight interview for Showtime, and he knows what to say. He's heard me do the interviews before, and he's been around all the educated people in the gym, because most fighters aren't very educated. They typically don't, a lot of them don't even graduate high school. So to see them grow as an adult and grow in their profession, I get so proud of them. And then obviously when they win, when they raise their hand, there's a picture on my Instagram, on my Facebook, of Bilal Lagoon when he won the European title, jumping in my arms. It's clearly one of the most joyful moments of both of our lives at the same time. So there's, the challenge is juggling the time, and the reward is all the different mini successes you see as they go out through their life, and even after they retire, to see them go on to do other things that you prepared them for by putting them in these circumstances and developing their personality, developing their intuition, developing their circle of friends and their connections, so they can go on to do bigger and better things and have a life outside of just fighting.
So after this, we know that you've been around UFC world champion, boxing world champions, Michael Jordan, just to name a few. Who is the most interesting celebrity you've ever been around?
Oh, that's a good question. Most interesting celebrity I've been around. They're all, they're all so much different, and they're all so much more than what you see in their public life. You only see so much in the ring. You only see so much in the movies. You only see so much on the court. Robert De Niro, for example, he's one of the most shy guys you could possibly imagine. He's very reserved and very quiet. He's nothing like you see those characters that he plays. Andrei Arlovsky, the Pitbull. That guy can be the sweetest guy in the world. He can be so super nice. I've seen girls, that he's his girlfriend. He lets them wrap him around their finger. He's exactly the opposite of the fanged maniac that you see in the cage. So it's very interesting to see all different people show multiple different sides of their personality, and sometimes you see stuff you don't really like that much, and sometimes they do things that are very endearing. Makes you actually care for them more and like them more.
That's awesome. A couple more questions before we end. As a coach, what was your favorite moment?
Just recently I had a great moment when Lazar Stojadinovic won a big fight at the LFA. He's clearly on his way to the UFC. He's been it's practically my son. I mean, we're so close. He's lived with me for the last who knows how many years. When Bilal Lagoon won that European title and jumped on my arms, what a moment. Walking into the cage with Andrei Arlovsky when he was defending his belt in Anaheim, California, and where the Anaheim Ducks play, and 20,000 people were screaming. He was on the top of the world at that time. Going to Grozny, Chechnya with Frezzo Kendo, coming out from under the stadium to Congo drums, Puerto Rican salsa music in a stadium of all hostile, the most hostile crowd I've ever seen, of all Chechenian Muslims that were on, they were fasting at that time. They haven't eaten all day, they haven't drinking all day, and they were there for the fight. They weren't going to eat or drink till after the fight. So imagine, they were cheering for the home guy, and they have the poor people that were starving all day. They were really suffering. So there's been so many. It goes on and on. When my instructor won the Olympic gold medal in Taekwondo, and they were so excited. The Koreans thought Korea was going to win in the 1988 first gold medal round, that they had the Korean national anthem queued up, and when she won, they played nothing. So she starts singing the national anthem by herself, and all the Americans joined in a cappella and sang. I get goosebumps thinking about it. So through my martial art career, there's been so many amazing moments, and I look forward to so many more.
That's awesome. One last question here. How is it taking on the legacy of the Fifth Street Gym and Muhammad Ali and kind of having that on your shoulders with all the young fighters? How does that feel? How do you take that? How do you handle it?
Well, I take it more seriously than everybody else does, because really people don't know. The young fighters don't know who Angelo Dundee is anymore. They don't know who the Fifth Street Gym is, other than this recent version of it that we've created, this new world famous Fifth Street Gym, because I have really made the fighters feel welcome. I've gone out of my way to make the European fighters come, and when they're coming on their way to the United States, James DeGale always comes for 2 weeks before he goes to defend his world title in the United States. He comes to get acclimated, and we open the doors for him. We let him use our guys for sparring partners. We let him have carte blanche at the gym, so anyone's there, they're there to see world champions and train right next to world champions. I go out of my way to not be with my hand open, what can they do for me, but what can I do for them to make the world champion feel welcome and then in turn, then the gym becomes a world champion gym.
Awesome. Thank you very much. This is Dino Spencer from the world famous Fifth Street Gym, and be some kind of fighter.